Hey guys, Basically 12 or Mitch as you guys know me. So it's September 11th today. And so what I want to do in this video is just kind of give you what my experiences was that day. No, I wasn't there. And then, see if I can maybe get you guys to let me know just, your thoughts, feelings. You guys know that I teach. So we talked about 9/11 yesterday in my classes because it was Friday. And I just learned that you can become very overwhelmed and depressed, just talking about what happened that day. Because, they have so many questions and it's so hard to describe it to them without going into, some details that you're having to use choice words because, I teach middle school. So you have to be careful how graphic you can get with the students, and you don't want to, bring up experiences that they might relate to that. So, but I remember that date. I remember because, here on the West Coast, the time change, I was getting ready for work and obviously it had already happened. And so we were watching the news, and at that moment we thought it was an accident, because the news wasn't saying anything about a passenger plane, and, it was billowing smoke. And it wasn't until that second plane hit that everybody, the whole world, knew that this was on purpose and obviously a terror attack. So, it still haunts me to this day, just looking at certain images and just knowing what certain people went through that day, especially on that fourth plane. Not that the people on those first three had it easy, but just knowing on that fourth plane what was happening, that must have been completely terrifying. And just to put myself in the shoes of those people that were in the upper floors of those towers, just having nowhere else to go. And it's disturbing to think about. And 20 years later, it's still, it's a fresh wound in my mind of just those thoughts, those feelings. So this video is just kind of, I don't know, it helps to definitely talk about it through this video. So I appreciate that I have this platform where I'm able to share those things. So, you guys can throw down in the comments where you were, what your experience was that day, possibly where you were, and how do you feel today, 20 years later, how does that still affect you? So, my students, they always have the same questions, like, why did this happen? Why was it us? Why was it the World Trade Center? And so, again, it's hard to go into those details without, completely shocking them. But you look back at it 20 years later, and the thing that kind of makes me sad is that 20 years ago, we came together as a country. There was so much patriotism and, coming together, like something bad happened to us. Let's come together and comfort each other in unity. And it makes me sad to say, and my students even pointed this out, they said, Mr. Hino, it feels like our country is more divided now, 20 years later. And it seems like we don't have what we had back in 2001. Where we had this situation, this tragedy where everybody came together like, we're coming together because something really bad happened. We're coming together as a team, as a country to, fight terrorism and any kind of evil. And now it just seems like we have a different kind of evil going on in our country, but it's coming from, the Americans, you know what I mean? Our own country. It seems like we're just waging war against each other. So it's, you just take a moment, take a breath, and you just say, God, how can we get to the point where we're more divided than we were 20 years ago? How have we not learned anything? So I don't know, guys. Maybe you can help me out. And I guess obviously we always go to God and pray and say, God, can you help knit this country together, because we're fighting against each other. Every little thing we fight against each other, and we end up splitting up. And I think that's the saddest part when I talk to my students about 9/11, because in anything, you want to give them the lesson. You know, we want to say, hey guys, you know, 9/11 was a terrible day, a horrific day. And, you know, and my students pointed out, hey, Mr. Hino, they lock the cockpit door now, so terrorists can't get on, get through the door. There's air marshals that carry guns. And so there's a lot of things we did to prevent this from happening again. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. But when you look at it as a country, you know, what have we learned? Have we gotten better with each other? Have we shown that we are united? You know, are we a better off country now than we were 20 years ago? And that's a tough question. And I don't have the answer to that. And, you know, if you were to ask me honestly, I'd say no. I would say we're not better. Just because in 2001, I don't remember, you know, people fighting against each other on every little thing. You know, we could come up with a shopping list of things that divide us now. Back in 2001, I don't remember, you know, I mean, I know politically we've always been divided, but I don't remember things being so nasty and evil where, you know, there's so much hatred and fighting and arguing. And so, I don't know. I guess we give this one up to God and say, God, this is too much for me to handle. I can't put this on my plate. I'm not going to carry the burden of the country. And so, you know, as we remember those, you know, in 9/11, the firefighters, the passengers on that plane, just the people that lost their lives, the injured, I would say, you know, let's honor them by remembering, you know, their bravery, their heroism, but, you know, to better ourselves from that too. I would say, be careful how much of the negative evilness that you take into yourself, because I agree that we have a limit of how much we can take in before it starts to affect us. And so I would say when you're getting to the point where you can't take anymore, just turn it off. Just say, God, I'm not going to listen to the news anymore, you know, for, you know, however long you want to set that for. I'm not listening to it for another day. I mean, I know we have to be informed, but, you know, so much negativity comes from that. I would say, God, I am taking a fasting break from watching the news or checking it on my phone, because, again, what goes in comes out, you know, as far as our spirit and our attitude. So, you know, we can make 9/11 today a positive thing, and we can say, God, you know, we take over our country. We give you the country. Take control of it, because you leave it up to us and we're going to screw it up. We're going to mess it up. And I feel like he's just wanting us to come back to him. And I think sometimes we get those reminders. Do I think 9/11 was a reminder to come back to him? Yes, I do. And do I think it helped? I don't know. That'll be up to, I guess that's up to different individuals. Was there a time when people came back? And yeah, I think churches were filled with people just wanting to know what's going on. Is COVID a reminder? Did it draw people to him? Yes. So you would just hope that it doesn't take a tragedy like 9/11 or COVID to drive people to him. But you know what? If that's what works, if that's what, you know, somebody's testimony is, so be it, you know. So I'm hoping that today finds you guys in a good place, safe, just plugging along, praying, getting, you know, hopefully being the positive solution to a lot of our country's problems. And I thank you guys and appreciate you for watching. I'm going to see you guys in tomorrow's base cover. I hope you guys like it, okay? I am Base Plate 12, or Mitch as you guys know me. I'll see you in tomorrow's video.